The sun rose slowly over the endless desert, turning the sand into a sea of gold. Arya stood at the edge of the vast dunes, her eyes fixed on the massive mountain that loomed in the distance. Its peak was hidden in a thin veil of clouds, and the surface of the stone looked strangely smooth, as if it had been polished by hands long gone. This was the mountain that had fascinated explorers and historians for centuries. Rumors said that beneath its heavy stone lay a tomb older and richer than any known treasure, a tomb that held Pharaoh's gold, sealed in stone and untouched for thousands of years. Arya adjusted her hat and checked the equipment she carried. Maps, scanners, ropes, and lanterns were all packed carefully. Her team was ready, but their eyes betrayed the same mix of excitement and nervousness that Arya felt. They were about to enter a place where no human had set foot in centuries. She took a deep breath and remembered the words of her mentor, who had once told her, "Some mysteries are meant to test the mind, the heart, and the courage of those who seek them." The journey to the mountain was not easy. The desert stretched for miles, with heat that pressed down on them like a heavy blanket. Every step in the soft sand made their boots sink slightly, but Arya's team moved steadily. A few camels carried the heavier supplies, and the small caravan left a trail behind them that the wind would soon erase. As they drew closer to the mountain, the air changed. It was cooler, and a faint hum seemed to echo from the rocks themselves, though no one could say if it was real or imagined. Finally, they reached the base. The mountain's size was greater than anything they had expected. Jagged rocks rose sharply, and the shadows they cast seemed alive. Arya walked to the first marking she noticed on the stone, a symbol carved deeply, worn by time but still clear. It looked like a sun with a line running through it, a symbol not seen in modern hieroglyphs. She ran her fingers over the groove. "This is older than anything in the records," she said, her voice low with awe. Her team gathered around, each one studying the markings carefully. One of the younger members, Nico, pointed to a small indentation near the base of the mountain. "It looks like an entrance," he said. It was tiny, almost hidden and partly covered by sand and small stones. Arya knelt down, brushing the sand away with her hands. As the dust fell, a faint golden light appeared inside the opening. Her heart skipped a beat. It was as if the mountain itself was welcoming them. She signaled to the others to prepare. Lanterns were lit, and the first ropes were tied for climbing inside safely. Before entering, Arya paused and looked at her team. There was Mira, steady and calm, always thinking 2 steps ahead. Nico, curious and eager, who could spot details others missed. Thomas, strong and careful, who carried the tools and ensured everyone's safety. And there was Kira, who managed the equipment and recorded every moment. Together they were ready, but none of them could know what awaited inside. Arya stepped first. The opening was narrow, forcing them to enter one by one. Inside, the temperature dropped immediately and the air smelled of stone and dust. The walls were covered in carvings that glimmered faintly in the lantern light. Strange symbols, creatures and patterns moved across the stone as if telling a story in a language long forgotten. The floor sloped downward, and the tunnel seemed to stretch endlessly. As they walked, Arya noticed a faint vibration beneath her feet. It was subtle, almost like a heartbeat, but steady. She paused and listened. The others stopped too, eyes wide. "Do you feel that?" she whispered. Nico nodded. "It's like the mountain itself is alive," he said. Mira shook her head. "Or maybe it is warning us. We need to move carefully." They continued slowly, scanning the walls and floor. Every few steps, Arya used a small device to detect energy. Readings flickered unexpectedly, showing patterns that should not have existed in nature. She frowned. "This is no ordinary tomb," she murmured. Thomas glanced at her. "You mean there is more than just treasure?" he asked. Arya nodded. "Yes, something in here is unusual. We must be ready for anything." Hours seemed to pass as they walked through twisting tunnels. Sometimes the walls narrowed, forcing them to squeeze through, and sometimes the floor opened into wide chambers filled with strange carvings and empty pedestals. The light from their lanterns reflected off golden dust embedded in the stone, giving the air a faint magical glow. Every corner held a secret, and every shadow seemed to move just slightly, making their journey feel both exciting and dangerous. Finally, after what felt like endless walking, they reached a large stone door. It was carved from a single block, smooth and massive, with symbols that pulsed faintly in golden light. Arya ran her hands over the surface. The carving seemed to tell a story of kings and explorers, of treasures and challenges, and of a guardian waiting to test those who entered. She looked at her team. "This is it," she said. "Beyond this door lies the heart of the tomb. Whatever is inside, we will face it together." With careful hands, they began to examine the door, ready to solve the first challenge of the mountain. The golden light from inside promised mystery, danger, and the adventure they had dreamed of for years. Arya felt a mixture of fear and excitement. The mountain had kept its secrets for centuries, but now, the tomb beneath the stone was about to reveal its story. The stone door was heavy and cold beneath Arya's hands. She ran her fingers over the carvings, feeling the faint vibrations that seemed to pulse from within the mountain. Each symbol appeared to move slightly when touched, almost like the stone was alive. Mira studied the patterns carefully, whispering, "These carvings are more than decoration. They are instructions." Arya nodded. She traced a sequence of symbols and pressed the corresponding points with careful precision. Slowly, the massive door began to move, grinding against the stone floor. The sound echoed through the tunnels, deep and hollow, as if the mountain itself was breathing. The door opened just enough for the team to step through. Beyond it, a large chamber stretched into darkness, lit only by the golden glow from the walls. The air smelled of ancient stone, dry and heavy with centuries of silence. Arya switched on her lantern, revealing the intricate carvings that covered the room. Figures of humans and animals danced across the walls, some familiar, others strange and alien. They seemed to tell a story of a civilization both advanced and mysterious, long lost to time. The floor was uneven, littered with small stones and broken artifacts. Nico crouched to examine a fragment of pottery, brushing away the dust. "These designs are incredible," he said. "They are older than anything we have seen. The craftsmanship is precise, almost perfect." Arya smiled. "And look at the symbols," she added. "They are not just decorative. They could be instructions or warnings. We need to pay attention." As the team moved deeper into the chamber, the walls narrowed, forming a passage that led downward. The golden glow faded, replaced by the flickering light of their lanterns. Arya felt the temperature drop, and a faint hum filled the air like a distant heartbeat. She paused, listening carefully. "Do you hear that?" she asked. Thomas nodded. "It feels like the mountain is responding to us. Be alert. Every step matters." The tunnel twisted and turned, sometimes forcing them to crawl on their hands and knees. Strange carvings continued along the walls, depicting stars, moons, and planets in patterns that resembled the night sky. Some of the symbols were completely unknown, shapes that seemed to shift as the lantern light moved across them. Arya's heart raced with excitement. This tomb was unlike anything she had studied. The mountain held secrets that could change history. After what felt like hours, the passage opened into another chamber. This one was larger, with high ceilings and walls covered in golden dust embedded in the stone. In the center of the room was a pedestal, empty except for a small, glowing crystal that hovered above its surface. Arya approached it carefully, sensing its energy. The crystal pulsed with light and the faint hum grew stronger. Nico reached out, but Arya stopped him. "Wait, this is not just decoration. It might be a mechanism or a warning." She studied the pedestal and the symbols surrounding it. Some symbols glowed brighter when she placed her hand near them. Slowly, she traced a path with her finger, connecting the glowing shapes. The crystal responded immediately, floating higher and spinning in place. The hum became louder, almost musical. The team watched in awe as the light illuminated a hidden doorway in the far wall. "That door wasn't here before," Mira whispered, her voice full of wonder. Arya nodded. "The mountain is showing us the way. We need to proceed carefully, but this could be the path deeper into the tomb." Tomas checked the floor for traps. So far, so good. No pressure plates or hidden spikes, but we should move slowly. The mountain might have more surprises. As they passed through the new doorway, the tunnel narrowed again and the walls seemed to close in. The golden glow returned faintly, revealing strange carved figures that looked like guardians. They were humanoid, but with mechanical features, their eyes wide and staring, as if watching the intruders. Arya felt a chill run down her spine. The team exchanged uneasy glances. "These are not statues," she said quietly. "They are mechanisms, probably meant to protect the tomb." The tunnel twisted further downward and the hum grew louder, vibrating through their bones. Nico shivered. "It feels like the mountain is alive," he said. Kira recorded every symbol and movement in her notebook, careful to note patterns and shapes. "We must document everything. This could be the most important discovery of our lifetime," she said, Arya agreed. Every detail mattered. The tomb was a puzzle, and understanding it required attention, patience, and courage. Finally, they reached a landing overlooking a deep chasm. A narrow stone bridge connected to the other side, worn smooth by centuries but surprisingly stable. Arya tested the surface with a pole before stepping forward. The rest of the team followed carefully, one by one. The chasm below seemed endless, dark and silent, but the hum continued, growing stronger as they moved. On the other side, a massive stone wall blocked their path. Strange symbols glowed faintly, pulsing in rhythm with the hum. Arya examined the carvings closely. "These are instructions for opening the next passage," she said. "It is another challenge, another test. We must solve it to go deeper." Mira nodded. "It seems the tomb rewards intelligence and patience. Force will not work here." Arya took a deep breath, feeling both fear and excitement. The tomb beneath the mountain was more than treasure. It was a test of courage, knowledge, and teamwork. Every step brought them closer to the secrets hidden for thousands of years, and every symbol told a story waiting to be understood. The journey had only begun, and already the mountain had proven that it would not give up its mysteries easily. The wall of glowing symbols loomed before Arya and her team, taller than any door they had seen. The hum from the mountain vibrated through the floor, louder now, and the air felt charged, almost electric. Arya studied the carvings carefully, tracing her fingers along the glowing lines. Each symbol seemed to respond, brightening slightly under her touch. Mira leaned closer, whispering, "It is not just decoration. The wall itself is alive with energy. We must be precise." Arya nodded, knowing that one wrong move could trigger traps or worse. Nico knelt to examine the stone at the base of the wall. "I think these lines form a pattern," he said. "Look, if you follow them in the right sequence, the glow moves along the path." Arya watched as he traced the lines slowly with his fingers. The symbols pulsed rhythmically and the hum grew louder, almost like a heartbeat speeding up. She realized that the mountain was testing them, responding to their actions. "Good," she said quietly. "Keep going." "We must stay calm and focused." Suddenly, a low rumble echoed through the chamber. Dust fell from the ceiling and the shadows of the walls shifted as if alive. Arya and her team froze. From the far corners of the room, shapes began to move. At first, they looked like statues, tall and humanoid, standing perfectly still. But as the light from their lanterns danced across the walls, the shapes stepped forward. Mechanical eyes glowed faintly and the hum became a low, resonant growl. The guardians of the tomb had awakened. Thomas tightened his grip on the tools he carried. "Everyone stay back," he said. "We do not know what they can do." The guardians moved with precision, their steps silent but deliberate. Arya felt a thrill of fear mixed with excitement. These constructs were designed to protect the tomb, but they were also marvels of engineering. Their limbs were jointed like humans, but their bodies had intricate patterns of gold and stone, reflecting the light in strange ways. Arya stepped forward cautiously. "We mean no harm," she said aloud, hoping the guardians could understand, even if only instinctively. The nearest construct paused, its head tilting slightly as if considering her words. The other guardians mirrored the movement. The room was tense, filled with the sound of the hum and the soft shifting of the stone beneath their feet. Kira recorded everything, noting every detail of their design and movement. Nico pointed to a set of symbols near the pedestal. "Maybe they respond to intelligence, not force," he said. Arya studied the patterns and noticed small indentations that could be pressed in a particular order. Carefully, she followed the sequence, her hands moving slowly over the glowing symbols. With each press, the hum changed pitch, almost like the guardians were listening, judging. Suddenly, the closest guardian extended a hand toward Arya. She froze, unsure if it was a threat. But instead of striking, the guardian touched one of the symbols, activating a mechanism in the wall. A hidden passage opened silently, revealing a narrow stairway leading deeper into the mountain. The hum softened and the guardians stepped back, their posture less threatening. It seemed they had accepted Arya's careful approach. Mira exhaled in relief. "It's responding to our actions. We must show respect and intelligence to proceed." Thomas nodded, glancing warily at the guardians. "They are not enemies. They are protectors. Force will not get us through." The team moved slowly, one by one, toward the stairway, keeping a careful eye on the guardians. Every step was measured, and every touch of the walls was deliberate. As they descended the narrow stairway, The air grew cooler and damper. The hum faded slightly, replaced by the sound of dripping water echoing through the stone. The walls were covered with more carvings depicting pharaohs, explorers, and strange celestial events. Arya could feel the weight of history pressing down on them. Each symbol told a story, each image a warning or a lesson from those who had come before. At the bottom of the stairway, they reached another chamber, this one even larger than the first. The ceiling was high and arched, with beams of golden light filtering through cracks in the stone above. In the center was a massive stone sarcophagus, covered with intricate carvings and hieroglyphs. Around it, smaller pedestals held objects that glowed faintly, casting shimmering reflections on the walls. Arya approached the sarcophagus slowly, feeling a mixture of awe and caution. She ran her hands over the carvings, noticing patterns that mirrored the symbols on the guardians. It was clear that these machines were not just protecting the tomb. They were connected to it, linked by the energy that pulsed through the walls. Mira studied the smaller pedestals, noting the unusual shapes and devices placed on them. These artifacts are more than decoration, she said. They are part of the tomb's system, probably designed to test anyone who enters. The team moved carefully, respecting the space and observing the guardians. Each action they took seemed to influence the constructs. When they touched the artifacts lightly, the guardians remained still. When they made sudden movements, the mechanical beings shifted closer as if warning them. Arya realized that success in the tomb required intelligence, patience, and observation. Brute strength would accomplish nothing here. Arya looked at her team, her expression determined. "We are close to the heart of the tomb," she said. "These guardians are part of the challenge. If we pay attention, if we work together, we can uncover the secrets and learn what has been hidden for centuries." The team nodded, their courage renewed. They had faced the first test and survived, but the mountain still held many mysteries, and they knew that the greatest challenges were still ahead. With careful steps, they moved toward the sarcophagus, ready to discover what lay within. The hum of the mountain grew stronger, echoing like a heartbeat as if acknowledging their courage. The guardian stood silently, watching, waiting. The tomb beneath the mountain had awakened, and the adventure was only beginning. The chamber was silent except for the soft hum of the mountain. Arya stepped closer to the massive sarcophagus, her lantern casting golden light on the intricate carvings. Every surface seemed to tell a story. Pharaohs, explorers, and strange symbols covered the stone, but there were also unusual objects she had never seen before. Small devices of gold and stone, shaped like wheels and levers, rested on the pedestals around the sarcophagus. The glow from them pulsed gently, like they were alive. Mira knelt beside one of the pedestals, examining a device that looked like a small globe with lines etched across its surface. "This is not just a treasure," she said quietly. "It is some kind of tool or machine. I have never seen anything like it." Arya leaned in, studying the symbols surrounding it. "The carvings show how it works," she said. "Or at least part of it. Whoever built this tomb was not only preserving gold, they were preserving knowledge." Nico moved from pedestal to pedestal, carefully noting the patterns and designs. "Some of these devices seem to react to touch," he said. He gently pressed a symbol on one of the machines, and a faint light traveled along the etched lines, illuminating the walls. The carvings shifted subtly, showing new images and symbols. It was as if the tomb was revealing its secrets only to those who understood its patterns. Thomas examined the sarcophagus itself. The lid was carved from a single block of stone, heavy and cold. Strange symbols formed a line down the center, leading to a small indentation that looked like it could be pressed. "I think this is another mechanism," he said. "It might open the sarcophagus, but we need to be careful. One wrong move and it could trigger something dangerous." Arya nodded. "We must study the carvings and the devices first. The tomb is designed to test our intelligence, not our strength." Kira recorded every detail, taking notes and sketches of the devices and carvings. "The patterns are consistent," she said. "The glowing symbols respond to observation and careful interaction. It seems the builders of this tomb wanted to make sure only those who could think and reason would reach the treasure." Arya smiled. "That is the mark of a civilization far ahead of its time. They valued knowledge as much as wealth." Arya stepped closer to one of the machines. She traced the symbols with her finger, watching the light follow her movements. Slowly, she realized that the devices were connected. When she adjusted one, the others responded. A series of lights traveled across the room, revealing hidden pathways and more carvings. The team watched in awe as the tomb revealed part of its secret. "This is incredible," Nico said. "The tomb is like a giant puzzle. Each piece interacts with the others. It is not just treasure. It is a system, a record of knowledge and technology that we do not understand yet." Arya nodded. "And it was designed to survive time. Nothing here has been disturbed for thousands of years. The builders trusted that future humans could solve the puzzle and learn from it. As they studied the devices, the sarcophagus responded to their careful actions. A faint vibration ran through the floor, and the indentation in the center glowed. The air seemed to shift, warmer now, with a faint scent of earth and metal. Arya realized that the tomb was not just a resting place. It was a story, a challenge, and a record all in one. Mira pointed to a small chamber off to the side, previously hidden by shadows. "Look at that," she said. "It is another room, smaller but filled with carvings and objects. The tomb keeps opening itself to us as we solve the puzzles." Arya stepped toward it, lantern in hand. The walls inside were covered with celestial symbols, stars, planets, and strange shapes that resembled constellations unknown to modern astronomy. It was a map, showing the position of celestial events that had occurred thousands of years ago. Nico traced the constellations with his finger. "These are aligned with certain times and places. The builders of this tomb had knowledge of the stars and planets far beyond what we expected. They understood the universe in a way we are only beginning to explore." Arya nodded, impressed. "This tomb is more than gold. It is a record of human achievement, of intelligence and observation. The pharaohs were preserving knowledge for the future." The team moved slowly, examining each device and carving. Every object had a purpose, and the tomb seemed to reward careful attention and reasoning. Arya realized that this was the lesson the builders wanted to teach, that intelligence, patience, and respect for history were the greatest treasures of all. As they worked, the hum of the mountain became a soft melody, almost musical. It felt welcoming now, as if acknowledging their understanding. The guardians remained silent in the corners, their eyes watching but not threatening. The tomb had accepted their respect and intelligence. Arya felt a sense of connection to the builders of the past, understanding that humanity's strength lay not only in curiosity, but in careful thought, teamwork, and wisdom. Hours passed, but none of the team felt tired. Each discovery brought excitement and awe. Arya looked around at her companions. They had reached a point deeper than anyone had expected, uncovering the secrets that had been hidden for thousands of years. The tomb beneath the mountain was no longer just a mystery. It was a testament to human intelligence, creativity, and foresight. With careful steps, they began to explore the rest of the chamber, documenting every device and symbol. They were not just finding gold. They were uncovering the story of a civilization that had sought to preserve knowledge across the ages. The tomb was a challenge, a puzzle, and a teacher, and Arya and her team were proving that humans were worthy of its secrets. The mountain remained silent outside, its peak hidden by clouds. Inside, the tomb revealed more wonders with every careful movement. Arya understood that the greatest treasure was not the gold, but the knowledge and ingenuity of those who had come before, and the human spirit that was determined to learn from it. Arya's lantern illuminated the chamber as the team moved deeper into the tomb. The air was cooler now, and the hum of the mountain had become a steady, low vibration like a heartbeat beneath their feet. Every step they took seemed to echo in the walls, reminding them of the mountain's presence. They had uncovered much already, ancient devices, carvings, and symbols, but Arya knew the heart of the tomb still lay ahead. The mountain was testing them, and the next challenges would not be easy. The narrow tunnel ahead sloped downward sharply, and the walls were lined with smooth, polished stone. As the team descended, the floor began to shift subtly beneath their feet. Tiny stones moved in patterns, almost like a puzzle, forming steps and pathways only for those who observed carefully. Arya paused to study the arrangement. "This is another test," she said. "The tomb responds to attention and thought. We cannot rush." Nico knelt to examine the floor, pointing out patterns that aligned with the carvings they had seen earlier. "If we step in the wrong place, it could trigger something," he warned. Arya nodded, moving carefully. "Every step is a choice. We must pay attention to the patterns and think before acting." The team followed her lead, placing their feet deliberately on stones that matched the symbols and lines from the walls. With each careful movement, the pathway shifted, guiding them further into the mountain. As they reached the bottom, the tunnel opened into a large chamber filled with rising columns of light. The walls were carved with complex geometric shapes, glowing softly in rhythm with the hum of the mountain. In the center, a circular platform appeared to float slightly above the ground, its surface covered in strange symbols. Arya studied it closely. "This is another puzzle," she said. "It looks like we must align the symbols to proceed." Mira examined the platform carefully. "It responds to touch," she observed. "When we press a symbol in the correct order, the platform changes its pattern. It is a test of logic and memory." Arya nodded. "We need to work together. This is not a challenge for one person alone." She and Mira began tracing the symbols with their fingers, while Nico and Thomas observed from the edges, offering insights when patterns became clear. As they worked, the hum of the mountain grew louder, almost as if it was guiding them. The platform shifted slightly with each correct press, and a faint glow revealed new pathways along the walls. The team realized that the tomb required cooperation, observation, and patience. Any sudden movements or guesses could disrupt the system, forcing them to start over. After several careful attempts, the platform finally settled into a stable pattern. The glow intensified, revealing a hidden stairway leading downward. Arya smiled. "We have passed this test," she said. "The tomb rewards careful thought and teamwork. The mountain is showing us the way." The team moved forward slowly, knowing that the next chamber would be even more challenging. The stairway led to a long corridor filled with shifting walls and moving panels. The hum of the mountain changed, rising and falling like a tide. Arya noticed that the walls responded to their movements. When they stepped too quickly or touched the wrong symbols, the walls shifted, blocking their path or creating new obstacles. It was as if the mountain itself was alive, testing their patience and intelligence. Kira kept careful notes, sketching the walls and recording the patterns. "This is incredible," she said. "The tomb is designed to challenge every skill we have: observation, logic, memory, and teamwork. It is more than a resting place, it is a lesson." Arya nodded, impressed by the sophistication of the design. The builders wanted to make sure only those who could think and act together would reach the heart of the tomb. Hours passed as they navigated the shifting corridor. At times, the walls seemed to close in, forcing them to crawl or squeeze through narrow spaces. Other times, the floor tilted unexpectedly, creating a balance challenge. Every movement required thought and careful coordination. Thomas helped steady the team, ensuring no one lost their footing. "We must be calm and focused," he said. "The mountain tests patience as much as intelligence." Finally, the corridor opened into a vast chamber. The ceiling arched high, and faint light reflected off golden dust embedded in the walls. In the center was a large stone mechanism, covered in intricate symbols and connected to smaller devices around the room. The hum of the mountain reached a steady, powerful rhythm, vibrating through the floor and walls. Arya stepped forward cautiously. "This is the heart of the tomb," she said. "Everything we have done has led to this point. We must pay attention to every detail." The team gathered around, studying the mechanism. It seemed to respond to touch, observation, and thought. Arya realized that the mountain was testing them one final time, combining every skill they had used so far. Intelligence, patience, teamwork, and courage were all required to unlock the next stage. The team worked together, pressing symbols in sequence, observing how the light and energy moved through the room. The tomb seemed to guide them, revealing its secrets slowly but clearly. Every correct action brought them closer to the treasure and knowledge hidden beneath the mountain. The challenges had been difficult, but the team's careful thinking and cooperation allowed them to succeed where others would have failed. As the mechanism finally shifted into place, a hidden doorway opened, revealing a golden glow that filled the chamber. The hum of the mountain softened almost like a sigh of approval. Arya looked at her team with pride. "We have passed the mountain's test," she said. "The tomb rewards intelligence, patience, and teamwork. The secrets we will find beyond this door are the reward for our efforts." The team prepared to step through the doorway, their hearts full of anticipation. They had faced the tomb's challenges, proving their courage and skill. The mountain's tests were complete, but the ultimate mysteries still lay ahead. Beyond the doorway, Pharaoh's gold and the tomb's greatest secrets waited, ready to be uncovered by those who had earned the right to see them. The doorway opened to a chamber unlike any they had seen. Warm golden light filled the room, reflecting off walls carved with intricate symbols. In the center, a vast treasure lay on a raised stone pedestal. Pharaoh's gold sparkled in piles of coins and ornaments, glowing like captured sunlight. But the team quickly realized that the room held more than gold. Strange devices surrounded the treasure, humming softly and casting pulses of energy that danced across the walls. Arya stepped closer, her heart racing. She could feel the energy in the air, almost as if the mountain itself was alive and observing them. "This is it," she whispered. "The heart of the tomb. But it is more than treasure. These devices, they are part of the tomb's secret." Mira approached cautiously, scanning the energy patterns with a small device. "The gold is powerful, yes," she said. "But these machines, they seem to store knowledge or energy that we cannot fully understand. We must be careful." Nico ran his fingers lightly over a small machine shaped like a wheel. The symbols on it lit up, casting golden lines across the floor. "It reacts to touch," he said. "If we remove the gold carelessly, we could set something off. This tomb is protected by more than walls and guardians. It is a system." Arya nodded. "Exactly. We cannot just take the treasure. We have to understand it first." Thomas stepped back, watching the room carefully. "We should document everything before we decide anything," he said. "These devices could hold secrets lost for centuries. Human curiosity can be dangerous if not guided by wisdom." Kira was already sketching and taking notes, recording the positions of the gold and the machines. "Every detail matters," she said. "We cannot disturb anything without understanding it." The builders wanted to protect this knowledge, not just hide it. Arya studied the carvings on the walls, which seemed to tell a story. Pharaohs and scholars were shown observing the stars, creating devices and recording knowledge. Some carvings even depicted explorers reaching this chamber and making choices that determined the tomb's reaction. It was clear that the mountain tested not only intelligence but also morality. The team faced a choice: take the gold for themselves or preserve the tomb's secrets for the world. Mira spoke softly. "The tomb is offering a lesson. The pharaohs wanted future humans to prove their worth. Taking the gold without thought could destroy what they preserved." Arya looked at the treasure, the glowing devices, and the carvings. "We have come this far because we respected the tomb and worked together. That respect must continue. The real treasure is not just gold. It is the knowledge and the wisdom that has survived thousands of years." The team discussed their plan carefully. They decided to document every object, photograph the carvings, and record every device. They also tested some of the machines gently, noting how they responded to touch. Slowly, they realized that the tomb was a system designed to reward understanding and caution. Each device, each symbol, each piece of gold was connected, forming a network that reflected the intelligence of the builders. As they worked, the golden devices seemed to pulse in harmony, as if acknowledging their careful approach. The hum of the mountain was steady and welcoming now. Arya felt a deep sense of connection to the people who had built this tomb. They had created not only a resting place for pharaohs, but a testament to human intelligence, creativity, and foresight. Their work had survived centuries, waiting for humans capable of understanding it. Finally, after hours of careful documentation, the team faced the decision. They could take some of the gold, risking the mechanisms, or leave it untouched, preserving the tomb's secrets for future generations. Arya spoke first. "We have learned what the builders wanted us to learn. The gold is tempting, but the knowledge and the lesson are more important. We cannot risk losing what has survived for so long." The team agreed. They would leave the gold and focus on documenting and studying the tomb's secrets. With this choice made, the chamber seemed to respond. The golden light brightened slightly, and the hum of the mountain became a steady, calm rhythm. It felt almost like a sigh of approval. The devices continued to glow, but they did not react in any threatening way. The tomb had accepted their decision, showing that intelligence, patience, and morality were the true keys to unlocking its secrets. Arya and her team spent more time exploring the room carefully. They noted how the devices connected to each other and how the carvings showed sequences of stars and planets, as well as the history of the civilization that built the tomb. They realized that the pharaohs had not only preserved wealth, they had preserved knowledge, wisdom, and a lesson in human ethics. As the team prepared to leave the chamber, Arya took one last look at the gold. It sparkled brilliantly, but she felt no desire to take it. The mountain had taught them something far greater than wealth. They had learned that intelligence, respect, patience, and teamwork were treasures that no stone or gold could ever surpass. The tomb beneath the mountain had tested them and proven humanity's worth. With careful steps, they made their way back through the corridors, retracing their path while keeping the tomb undisturbed. The hum of the mountain accompanied them, steady and reassuring. They had faced the ultimate challenge and emerged not just as explorers, but as humans who had honored the wisdom of the past. The gold remained in its place, but the knowledge and the lesson would travel with them, inspiring the world outside the mountain. The team emerged from the mountain as the first light of dawn painted the desert in shades of gold and pink. The journey back across the dunes felt different now. The air seemed lighter, almost welcoming, and the hum of the mountain had faded, leaving only the whisper of wind over the sand. Arya looked back at the enormous peak, its surface still smooth and silent, guarding the treasures and knowledge hidden within. The tomb had tested them, challenged their minds, and revealed secrets that had waited thousands of years to be discovered. Thomas adjusted the pack on his shoulder, smiling. "We made it," he said. "The mountain accepted us." Mira nodded, her eyes reflecting the sunrise. "And we left the tomb as it should be, undisturbed just as the builders intended. That is our reward." Nico grinned, pointing to the distant horizon. "The world will never know the gold we left behind, but the discoveries we documented will change how humanity thinks about history and intelligence." Arya felt a swell of pride and wonder. They had not just survived the tomb, they had learned from it. Every challenge, every puzzle, every careful step had tested not only their courage but also their patience and intellect. They had proven themselves worthy, not by claiming the gold, but by understanding the lessons of the mountain and the builders who had created the tomb. Kira, carrying her notebook and sketches, spoke softly. "The knowledge we recorded will inspire scientists, historians, and explorers for generations. People will study the carvings, the devices, and the symbols. They will realize that humans are capable of thinking, creating, and preserving knowledge in ways that were once unimaginable." Arya smiled. "And they will know that respect, teamwork, and careful thought are more valuable than any treasure of gold." The team began their journey back to their base camp at the edge of the desert. The sun rose higher, warming the sand, and the distant mountain stood silent, proud, and unchanged. Along the way, Arya reflected on the adventure. They had entered the tomb seeking treasure, but they had found something far greater. The story of a civilization that valued knowledge, intelligence, and human potential above all else. The mountain had reminded them that true strength comes from the mind and heart, not wealth or power. As they reached their camp, the team unpacked their equipment and began reviewing the documents and sketches they had collected. Each drawing, note, and photograph captured a piece of the tomb's secrets. Arya felt a deep satisfaction. The gold, while brilliant and tempting, was secondary. The real reward was the understanding, the lessons, and the proof that humans could rise to challenges set by those who came before them. News of their discovery spread quickly among trusted scholars and institutions. While the exact location of the tomb remained secret, the information the team shared inspired a new wave of exploration and study. Scientists began to rethink history. Astronomers analyzed the celestial carvings and engineers studied the ancient devices. Humanity began to see that intelligence, creativity, and careful thought were treasures in themselves, capable of shaping the future far beyond any gold or jewel. At night, Arya sat alone by the campfire looking at the stars. She thought of the carvings that had mapped celestial events thousands of years ago. She realized that the builders of the tomb had left a message for the future. Humans had the potential to think, create, and preserve knowledge, but it required patience, teamwork, and respect. She felt connected to those ancient minds across time, united by curiosity and wisdom. Mira joined her, holding a cup of water. "It feels like the tomb is still alive," she said. "Not the mountain itself, but the knowledge, the challenges, and the lessons. They will continue to guide those who seek understanding." Arya nodded. "Yes, and we are part of that legacy now. We have proven that humans can rise to the challenge not by force but by intelligence and respect. That is the true meaning of the tomb." The desert stretched endlessly around them, quiet and vast. The mountain stood in the distance, silent and unyielding, holding its gold and its secrets. Yet humanity had gained something far greater. A reminder of its potential, a story of intelligence and courage, and the knowledge that teamwork, patience, and respect can unlock the greatest mysteries of all. As the night deepened, Arya's team made plans to share their findings with scholars and institutions around the world. They knew that the gold would remain sealed, untouched, but the knowledge they carried would inspire generations. Humanity would continue to explore, learn, and grow, guided by the lessons of the tomb beneath the mountain. Arya looked once more at the distant peak, feeling a quiet reverence. The tomb had tested them and they had passed. The Pharaoh's gold remained in its place. But the story, the knowledge, and the triumph of human intelligence would travel far beyond the desert. The mountain had guarded its secrets for millennia, but it had also shown the world that humanity, when wise and careful, is capable of greatness beyond measure. With the stars shining above, the team prepared to leave the desert. Their hearts were full of wonder, their minds alive with ideas, and their spirits strengthened by the experience. The tomb beneath the mountain had not only preserved gold, it had preserved a lesson in human potential. Arya knew that the world would remember this adventure, and that humanity had proven itself worthy of the secrets that lay beneath the stone.